What's up, everybody? Justin here. I'm back with Feuds in Wrestling Show 1987. Feuds in Wrestling 87 was awesome. It was really fucking good in wrestling. In the NWA, WWF, AWA, not so much, but they had one good feud. Really good year. 87 is a fun fact. When I first started watching WWF and pro wrestling, I was absolutely hooked when I started watching in 1987 at 3 years old. Sadly, I didn't get to see any live pay-per-views until 89. I went to my brother's friend's house. He actually ordered Royal Rumble, and I think WrestleMania 5 I saw live. Anyways, so here we go. Feuds in Wrestling 1987. Let's start with the WWF. Roddy Piper. It was his farewell. Rest in peace, Hot Rod. It was his farewell at WrestleMania 3. Roddy Piper's final match, his retirement match. We all know, my opinion, retirement in wrestling does not exist. It doesn't. Everybody comes back and wants to have another match. The only guy that actually has stayed retired, I would have said Shawn Michaels, but he had to come back in 2018. God almighty, that was a bad match. I don't know what the fuck happened, but all four guys, DX, the Brothers of Destruction, that did not work. I don't know why, it just did not work. Their match was a fucking mess. And it should have been okay, but it wasn't. Maybe it's the heat in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what the hell happened. And my God, it was disturbing and weird to see Shawn Michaels bald. I mean, grow some damn hair. I don't care if you're half bald, grow your hair back. Don't be bald, because that's not a good look for HBK. So, I know Shawn's in his 50s, but being bald just made you look like you were close to 70 instead of 50s. If I was Shawn, I would keep that hat on your head that you always wear. I just wear hats because I'm a fan of hats. I got a lot of damn hair, and it's not balding, thankfully. So, I don't know. My father had a great head of hair. My father has passed away when I was 7 years old, but he had a lot of damn hair. Great head of hair. And he was in his early 40s. So hopefully I'll have my hair till I'm an old guy. Here we go now. What was I talking about? Feuds in Wrestling 87. How did I get on Shawn Michaels? I don't know how I started talking about Shawn Michaels. Oh yeah, retirements. In wrestling, they don't exist except for Stone Cold Steve Austin has stayed retired since 2003. Has not wrestled a match since. Done a lot of stunners, mostly to the McMahons, but has not had a match, and I don't think he will. Why should he? Why would he? Why would he be motivated to come back? I won't. With anybody. I mean, the only match Stone Cold would have probably came back for is against probably CM Punk. That's not going to happen. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin has stayed retired, and not The Rock. Who the hell else? I just had him in my head. Now I can't remember. He's out of my head. Stone Cold and CM Punk. CM Punk, never officially retired. I'm sure he'd come back if he was offered a ton of money, but he has claimed nobody's offered him to come back to the ring. I don't believe that, because Tony Khan fucking met with you, Punk, in person. I'm sure he talked about you wrestling in AEW, and you claim they didn't make you an offer. Or, I don't know, Punk says Cody and the Bucks didn't make him a real offer because it was over texts. And that's stupid, to try to get someone to come to your company by texting them. Just meet them in person. But Tony Khan did that. I don't fucking know why CM Punk didn't take his offer. Because Tony Khan has said a lot of times his number one goals on signing guys. He wanted to sign Jericho, and CM Punk was the number one guy he wanted to sign. It didn't work. Who the hell knows why? I'll never know the truth. Maybe Punk wanted way more money. I'm sure Tony Khan offered him a lot. So, CM Punk is not officially retired, but he's not wrestled since 2014. So, now to the feuds in wrestling in 87. Let's start with the WWF. Roddy Piper, Adrian Adonis had a good feud to build up to WrestleMania 3. The ultimate, biggest feud of the year, in my opinion. Hogan, Andre, WrestleMania 3 build-up. What a fucking feud. What a build-up. Not just at WrestleMania 3. Hogan and Andre were at the first Survivor Series in the main event. Team Andre, Team Hogan. So they met again. But Hogan and Andre, the build-up was so fucking good. And it took place on the Hot Rods Piper's Pit. Hogan was given a big giant trophy, I think, for being champion for 3 years. Andre was given a tiny trophy, kind of a smaller trophy, for being undefeated for 15 years. They claimed Andre was undefeated for 15 years, which I doubt it, because he wrestled in every territory, and he probably was counted out and took a loss. But whatever. We all know WWF makes up their own damn rules. Saying someone was undefeated their whole career. Coming up is going to be the greatest wrestling match of all time. They like to make up their own stuff. And I don't really got a problem with that. It's their company. They can say whatever the fuck they want to say about to build up a match. So, again, Andre Hogan was the ultimate best fucking feud in 87. It set the wrestling world on fire. The wrestling business and industry was at its peak after WrestleMania 3. During WrestleMania 3, it was at its fucking peak. Because how well and how good WrestleMania 3 did, I'm sure a ton of people bought it on pay-per-view and closed circuit, went to go see it. I'm sure it made a ton of money in ticket sales and merchandise. So WrestleMania 3 did so fucking well that I'm sure the NWA, the AWA, other promotions definitely profited, with a lot of fans showing up to their shows. Because wrestling was super, super popular in 87. It really was. Maybe it was 86 or 85. Hogan was on Sports Illustrated, and just WWF was everywhere. So, Hogan Andre, the ultimate feud. Andre rips his shirt, rips his cross, and lifts up Hogan's chin, says, "You look at me when I'm talking to you. I want to challenge you for a match for the world." He didn't call it, he was supposed to call it World Wrestling Federation Championship. Instead, he goes, I want to challenge you for the world wrestling belt. That was funny. But Andre was not strong at promos. He was a foreigner. He was French. He had a thick accent. But God bless him for trying. That was just great. Hogan was shocked. Andre ripped his shirt and crossed. Hogan was like, I thought we were friends. And then Piper says to Hogan, you're bleeding. You're bleeding. And then the next Piper is Pitt. My God. Piper says, are you gonna challenge Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3? Yes or no? Hogan goes, yes. And the crowd just explodes. What a fucking build up. I got goosebumps thinking about it. And then WrestleMania 3 Epic. Hogan body slams Andre. I don't know how the fuck he did it because Andre looked legit over 550 pounds. Hogan says he's about 600. I doubt that, but whatever. Just epic. After the match, Bobby Heenan's like this. And they go in the cart out of the ring or to the back. Epic. Piper has his retirement match at WrestleMania 3. Hogan, Andre, Savage, Steamboat. Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat had a hell of a feud in 87. That's on my feuds in wrestling for 87. Also, we had the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldogs had a hell of a feud in 87 also. The Hart Foundation and the Killer Bees had a good feud. Danny Davis, the wrestling crooked referee, I guess, had a pretty hot feud with George the Animal Steel, I think. Because Danny Davis, the guy was not that good as a wrestler, but he was fucking hated as a heel. So the fans would pay to see him get beat up. Another 87 feud that was not bad was Brutus Beefcake and Jimmy Valiant. Or Luscious Johnny V. Now let's go to the NWA. In their feuds in 87, you had Dusty Rhodes against the Four Horsemen. Dusty against Tully Blanchard. The Superpowers, Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff, the Road Warriors against the Four Horsemen. They had a legendary fucking match in the first ever War Games. It was the Superpowers against the Horsemen. Also, the Superpowers, it was also Paul Ellering, and with the Horsemen, J.J. Dillon was in it. J.J. Dillon took the Road Warriors finish off their shoulder and actually landed on his shoulder and I think tore his shoulder up. Really got legit injured. I think he tore his rotator cuff because he landed badly on his shoulder in the War Games. Of course, they had rematches on the Great American Bash tour in 87. They had the War Games 2 and maybe a War Games 3, but they definitely had a lot of War Games in 87. But I know of 2 of them that were put on video. I don't know why WWE Network still has yet to put Great American Bash 87 on the network. It's a really damn good show. It should be there. I have it on DVD. But not from the network. I bought it on DVD. So, long story, I bought Great American Bash on videotape, VHS, and I converted it to DVD because I have a DVD recorder. So, more feuds from the NWA in 87. Ric Flair, Jimmy Garvin had a pretty damn good feud and really good world title matches. Flair made Jimmy Garvin look like a legit fucking challenger for the world title, like he could really win. Ric Flair, Ronnie Garvin. had really good matches that I loved. I loved their Starrcade 87 cage match. I fucking loved it. They had another cage match in Detroit where Ronnie Garvin won the NWA title. That was a great moment. I think Ron Garvin was underrated. The guy was awesome. Really had good matches with everybody. More NWA feuds in wrestling. As I said, the superpowers of Four Horsemen, Barry Windham, Ric Flair had a short-lived feud and matches that were damn good for the world title. What else? Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express from the NWA had a really good feud, tag team feud for the world tag titles and US tag titles. Let's go to the UWF. Used to be Mid-South Wrestling. Their feuds, Rick Steiner and Sting. They were the tag champs. But Sting and Terry Taylor had a good feud in the UWF. I think it was, maybe it wasn't for the TV title, I'm not sure. More UWF, used to be Mid-South. One Man Gang. Before he went to WWF in the summer, again, Hacksaw Jim Duggan also went there before WrestleMania 3. But in the UWF, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, One Man Gang, had a hell of a feud in the UWF over the UWF World Title. WCCW World Class Championship Wrestling had some good feuds. Kevin Von Erich and Kerry Von Erich versus anybody. It was a hot feud. Even though there's just an insane amount of tragedy, just too sad to bring up how much tragedy the Von Erichs have had. Kevin Von Erich, the guy had 5 brothers, and now he's not even a brother. That is just tragic. But Kevin and Kerry were still around in 87, and they were super over still. But God almighty, David Von Erich, Chris Von Erich, they passed away. And by 88, WCCW, the territory, the company was basically dead. Because the fans just were not coming anymore. Too much damn tragedy in that company for the fans to stay around. But again, Kevin and Kerry Von Erich against anybody was good. A good feud. Also, the Dingo Warrior. I almost said Ultimate Warrior. The Dingo Warrior. What a stupid fucking name. Dingo. What the fuck? Thank God Vince came up with Ultimate Warrior, because that's a lot better than a Dingo Warrior. Dingo Warrior ravishing Rick Rude. Had a good feud. I think it's 86. Their feud. Because Warrior was in WWF, I think, by the summer of 87. And Rick Rude also went to WWF in the summer of 87. So their feud was 86, I believe, in WCCW. Final feud I got down here. I'm sure there were other good feuds in 87 in Japan, I'm sure. In New Japan and All Japan, I'm sure there were really good feuds there. I'm just unaware of them. Final feud from the AWA in 87, Nick Bockwinkel, Kurt Hennig for the AWA title was a really damn good feud. They had really good matches that were close to an hour, or they were an hour time limit draws. Hope you enjoyed this Feuds in Wrestling 1987. I enjoyed doing it. I still love the year 1987 when I watch it back on the network. It's just brings me joy and puts a smile on my face. I got a lot of good memories from seeing wrestling from the late 80s because that's when I grew up and that's when I started watching was 1987. So I loved doing this Feuds in Wrestling show for 1987. I will continue to do Feuds in Wrestling 88, 89, 90, and all the way up to 2020. So this Feuds in Wrestling series will go on for a while, for a very long time. I don't know when I'll do the next Feuds in Wrestling show on 1988. Probably this summer. I'll continue it. But I do a lot of reactions and predictions and reviews, so I don't know when I'll get to my next Feuds in Wrestling, but it will be on the year 1988 Feuds in Wrestling. Hope you enjoyed 87. Watch 86 Feuds in Wrestling. Check out my Feuds in Wrestling playlist. Please, I'd appreciate it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate that very much. Bye for now, everybody.